say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places you could be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Was wondering if I was going to be able to do tonight's show because I ended up having to go back down to the dental location in New Orleans for the VA, and sure enough, I had a dry socket where they removed that tooth. It took an hour and a half to extract. But not only did I have a dry socket, but there was also some other pieces of it that they did not get out. So they took care of all that today, and boy, do I feel a lot better than I did. So this afternoon I decided, well, let's go for it. Not in any pain at the moment, so let's push forward. I want to start off tonight talking about the flood in Texas and what we know at the moment. At least 160 people are still missing that we know of. Now, that's 160 that people have come forward and said we can't reach out to our loved one. We don't know where they're at or their house is gone. Okay, that number is going to increase because we know that there are people that live by themselves or people that lived in the area. Maybe they were homeless. Who knows? But folks that are unaccounted for that are not part of this list, so it could be well over 200 in just that part, but that we know of that's missing that people have reported on 160, and that's in Kerr County as a result of the flooding. At least a dozen others are missing in other parts of the state from the same flood. As of going on the air tonight, 121 have been confirmed dead. Many of those are children that were in the summer camps. So sadly, we're probably going to be looking at over 281 deaths. I'm going to say the number is probably going to be over 300 from just this flood. Donald Trump is traveling tomorrow to Central Texas to survey the damage, which has put his administration on the sudden defense over its emergency response efforts, because liberals and Democrats in the House and Senate have been spreading no merit bullshit, linking the deaths to Trump's cuts through Doge, all of which we know is a complete and utter lie. They claimed that the weather service was understaffed because of cuts from Doge, and it turned out the weather service that is responsible for reporting that area, not only did they do everything they were supposed to do, but they were overstaffed. So it was a complete and utter lie from the Democrats once again. A special session of the Texas legislation is scheduled to take place this month, where they were going to be discussing a flood warning system, emergency communications, and relief funding for flood victims. And that's according to the state governor, Governor Greg Abbott. I hope they will not just discuss moving the children's summer camps out of the flood zones, but demand it and make it law. The fact that these camps were in a known flood zone is just, I can't wrap my head around that. In recent years, multiple efforts in these counties that were affected by this flood have been trying to build a more substantial flood warning system, such as sirens that would go off, because a lot of the areas, they don't have cell phone service. There's no cell signal. I mean, we're talking about rural Texas areas, a lot of them. So they've been trying to come up with a way to, how can we enhance this? But every avenue they've attempted has failed due to budget concerns for the different counties and also noise complaints from other people that live around the area. County officials in Kerr County and the River Authority there had applied for a $980,000 FEMA grant to build a new warning system because they didn't have the funding to do it. So they applied for this grant in 2017. That would make Democrat President Barack Obama the president. And what do you think happened? The grant was denied. But it's Trump's fault, right? That's what they want to tell us. Listen. I have a liberal Democrat person, an acquaintance of mine that I communicate with on a fairly regular basis. He's watching tonight, as he does all my shows. And he, in a text message yesterday, back and forth, I found it beyond stupid. Because he was telling me that what happened with this Texas flood is the same thing that happened with the natural disasters that affected Louisiana and Florida with the hurricanes that we lived through. And he said it's karma for being Republican and voting for Trump and supporting MAGA. How stupid must one be to assume that everyone affected by natural disasters, whether it was the flood in Texas or the hurricanes in Louisiana and Florida, are all Republicans, supported Trump, supported MAGA? There were no Democrats in that. That's the kind of ideology that these idiots use. Karma. Hundreds of thousands, over millions, affected by these disasters that have been happening in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida. Not to mention many other places. California, the wildfires, earthquakes, forest fires happen across the nation. All because of karma? Because they're Republican voters? I mean, that's a special type of stupid right there. This person, I've asked many times to come on my show because I would love to debate them. Put them up side by side on my screen here and let you listen to what comes out of their mouth. And the sad part is they believe what they're saying. I mean, that's how stuck on stupid they are. I thought I had them for a moment. They were going to do it. But they said they wouldn't do it because I had the chat and they want to be attacked in the chat. I'd have to take the chat down. I didn't think I would do that. So I agreed to those terms. You come on. We can either do it live or we can pre-record it and there will be no chat. Just be me and you talking about your Democrat views, your liberal views, and me talking about my now conservative and Republican views as a former Democrat that has exposed the Democrat Party for what they are, which is a bunch of racist bigots. And they still denied it when I called their bluff. And to this day, still refuse to step forward and be a man. And they're just afraid. They're scared of me because they know that I will dissect them right here for everybody to see. And the embarrassment they can't handle. So, hey, just so you know, dude, the offer is always there. You can come on this show anytime. Just you and me. Debate about where I say the Democrat Party is. And then you can tell everybody all the lies that you claim that I tell. I'd be more than happy to allow that to happen. The floor is open to you anytime. Same person, by the way, lives in North Carolina, where there's been all types of disasters. Oh, let's see. The same hurricane that hit Florida, and it was karma because they're all Republicans, then went north up through Atlanta into North Carolina and destroyed the fucking place. They were all Republicans? Are you shitting me? How dumb can one be to think that? Sadly, this person isn't alone. They actually think that the only people that were affected, whether it was the kids that were killed, their parents were Republicans. The adults that were killed, they voted Republican. That's a special kind of warped, stupid shit right there. And you can't get through to them. I try. Damn knows I've tried. But it is what it is. And then on Tuesday, I shared with you all this just ridiculously sick and twisted Democrat for what she put out on TikTok. And we're talking about somebody that was appointed by the Democrat establishment in Houston, Texas. And what she had to say about all these children that were killed in the Texas flood. So as a reminder of what she said, let me share with you real quick this little over a minute clip of her no merit bullshit.
Probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites only girls Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all white only conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white, you ain't right, you ain't getting in, you ain't going, period. And I think that context needs to be said in this matter. It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls that are missing or whatever right now. But you best believe, especially in today's political climate, if this were a group of Hispanic girls, especially with them being in East Texas, it should be most likely Hispanic. If this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage that they're getting. No one would give a fuck. And all these white people, the parents of these little girls, would be saying things like they need to be deported. They shouldn't have been here in the first place, and yada, yada, yada. So before y'all come at me, before y'all start leaving hate comments on my page about, oh, these are just kids and they don't know no better, the parents of these children who are choosing, and it is a choice in 2025, it is definitely a freaking choice to go into East goddamn Texas and to make a all-white enclave, exclusionary just for white people, with all the black people in East Texas, with all the Hispanic people in East Texas. Somehow, some way, you have carved out an all-white, whites-only enclave in East Texas for your white children. Yeah, I have a problem with that.
So, the first thing that stands out is that she's a racist bigot and she hates white people. That's number one. Number two is that she's a lying whore, ghetto bitch, a Jasmine Crockett. Because Camp Mystic has black kids, Hispanic kids, in fact, more Hispanic kids than white kids. And she doesn't see that. But she's not just your typical ghetto racist bigot. She was appointed by the Democrat mayor of Houston for legal support because she was an attorney to work for his government, city government. And social media went after that bitch. Tuesday, I reported on it, and many other people reported on what she had to say. And my Lord, they broke TikTok just going after her for her horrible, hateful, bigotry statements and lies. I mean, no merit bullshit, period. She has no clue. And so let me share with you where she's at the moment, all right? Because this is astounding. She's received so much response to this that she put out a second video doubling down on her accusations. Listen to this.
I guess I'll just chit-chat in a video. I mean, I don't understand all this, extraordinary hate or whatever. Like, I get that white people are not used to people telling them and calling them out on their racism and telling them about their double standards and how you wouldn't give a damn about other children and how there's children in ICE detention right now who y'all don't give two fucks about. There's no prayers going up for them. But we're supposed to stop the world and stop everything we're doing to go and hunt for these little missing white girls. Again, I actually have empathy, so I can put myself in other people's shoes and understand that that's pretty fucked up. But it seems like y'all don't get that. Y'all don't get that. Y'all don't have the empathy gene, for sure. It's very much lacking. And I mean, for y'all to just be on here, just straight up racism. Every comment, I wouldn't say every comment. I will say 99.9% of the comments have just been, EBT this and welfare that and you're a monkey and yada, yada, yada. Like, y'all haven't, it's been like 100 years. Y'all haven't come up with nothing new with other than the monkey shit. And like y'all don't have nothing new. And when a black person isn't poor and when they don't fit your stereotype of, EBT and whatnot, you're still going to use it and it's whack. Like, it makes no sense because it doesn't apply, babes. It doesn't apply. And with groceries being so fucking high right now, I am positive most of y'all are either on it or you need it. So y'all can quit faking the funk. Babes. And since I have two grown boys who just graduated high school and they're about to go off to college or whatever, our refrigerator is like damn near empty. And it's like, thank God, it's almost like I got a raise because these two grown children were eating all of our fucking food out of a house and home, but whatever. But since I get EBT and y'all are paying for it, I appreciate you. Yeah. I appreciate my little 15 minutes of fame. Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all gave me a bunch of followers. Y'all spammed all of my other social medias except my Red Note. Go to Red Note. Give me some comments on fucking Red Note. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, tomorrow's another day. I'm gonna be back out here for sure. And once again, to anyone who, put my public address out there as more public, okay, do something about it. Like, come hither. I would love to see you walk your ass through this gate and see if you're not going to be leaving out of here in a fucking duffel bag. Like, For sure. For sure. For sure. So, yeah, you guys have been influenced by this MAGA coon Negro, and y'all are over here just spewing all this hate on my page or whatever. But baby, I gives no fucks, because when I say I am exhausted with white folks and I am done with y'all's bullshit, it is exhausting. White people's bullshit is fucking exhausting. Every fucking day of my life, you motherfuckers give me a goddamn headache. And it is just really annoying. And it's really been 10 times worse since this whole Trump shit has been off the ground. But whatever. Tomorrow's a new day. I will be back. The video is still up. You can go like and comment and give me a follow. Okay? Like, I feel like a little influencer right now. Like, y'all really been gassing me up all day.
Yeah, you're an influencer, all right. An influencer of hate. You've proven to everybody that knows you, to include your boyfriend, who we're going to talk about here in a moment, that you're a horrible, disgusting person. Literally a horrible, disgusting, subhuman, Mongol piece of garbage. Again, a Democrat former mayoral appointee in Houston, Texas, is being slammed. And once again, being slammed for a fundraising platform after the campaign was set up to help with her legal support, because there are people coming after that bitch. Following her comments on social media about the race of the 27 girls from Camp Mystic who died in the Hill County floods last week, she neglected to mention the races of more than 200 others missing and dead in the floods, which are Hispanic and Black, Democrats as well as Republicans, but claimed it was an all-white, exclusive, Christian, conservative camp, which it was not. Then she went out and doubled down when they went after her. It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls are still missing, but you best believe, especially in today's political climate, this were a group of Hispanic girls, this would not be getting the type of coverage that they're getting. No one would give a fuck. The fundraiser, support for Sade Perkins, was posted on crowdfunding platform Give, Send, Go, and features photos of some of the girls who died in the flood. Created by Marin Hills, it supposedly will benefit Perkins, who is the former member of the Houston Food Insecurity Board, appointed by the Democrat mayor. Sade Perkins is being publicly targeted for telling the truth, the organizers said on the site. After the devastating flood at Camp Mystic, Sade, like many of us, were heartbroken. But she also had the courage to say what others wouldn't. Would this response have looked different if the victims were Hispanic or Black girls? Yes, you dumb fucks, it would look the same, because we would still be concerned because they're Americans. He'll claim Perkins is being stalked, harassed, and flooded with hate messages. Noting Houston Mayor John Whitman said Perkins was fired to make it look like they've taken some kind of action in response to the public outrage. At least the Democrat mayor had the courage to fire this stupid bitch. However, Hill said Perkins resigned on her own terms. Organizers are now calling the backlash she is facing radicalized violence. She simply spoke up about racial disparity and emergency response, something many have quietly thought, but were too afraid to say. And the hate she's getting, it's not just judgment, It's racially violence in plain sight. According to the fundraiser, Hill alleged that the white public figure had made the same comments. It would have sparked debate, not a takedown. Well, that's not true at all, because we just reported Tuesday a white teacher had the same views you had. She's been fired. She had the sense Perkins is a black woman. She's being told you shouldn't be talking at all. We don't care what you say. We care about whether or not you're lying your ass off and you have no merit. With the money raised, the organizer said, Perkins will be able to afford protection, legal support, and recover from the reputational and emotional harm she's enduring. As of this afternoon, before I went live, I went to the fundraiser. They want to raise, their goal is $20,000. They've raised $400. Some people that are racist bigots like her donated a few bucks. Many of the donations are in small amounts, sent in by usernames acting as comments. A donation by Disgrace to Houston gathered 23 likes, while donations made other usernames with racial slurs, obscene language, or death threats aimed towards her, which have hundreds of likes. While Perkins is yet to address the fundraiser, her boyfriend, the Reverend Colin Boson, released a statement on his website disavowing her comments. That's right, her boyfriend is a reverend. My partner, Sadie Perkins, has made comments on social media regarding the horrific flooding that devastated Camp Mystic. I want to be clear that I disavow her comments, he wrote. While she was not speaking on my behalf or behalf on my congregation, I recognize that her comments have caused harm to many who are experiencing terrible loss and anxiety. You are an absolute disgrace to the human race, Sadie. Moving on. The White House is calling on Democrats in Congress to ramp down heated language towards U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, the Agents for Customs and Border Protection, the CBP, after a gunman opened fire upon Border Patrol agents at a facility in McAllen, Texas. The Department of Homeland Security reported earlier that assaults against ICE officials and other federal immigration agents have risen nearly 700% in comparison to this time in 2024. Specifically, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Democrats like Representative AOC should set up a meeting with ICE and CBP agents to find out the truth. We certainly call on Democrats to tone down their rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol agents, who again are everyday men and women just doing their job. I would encourage AOC and other Democrats to actually meet with the Border Patrol. She told reporters, these are honorable Americans who are just simply trying to do the job to enforce the laws in America. They go home to their families every night, just like we all do, and they deserve respect and dignity for trying to enforce our nation's immigration laws and remove public safety threats from our communities. Agents and local police shot and killed the gunman who opened fire on the Border Patrol agents in Texas Rio Grande Valley and shot a local police officer, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Both Border Patrol agents and local help neutralized the shooter, Department of Homeland spokesman said in an email. 2 officers and a Border Patrol employee were injured, including one shot in the knee. All 3 have gone to the hospital. This is an ongoing investigation which is being led now by the FBI. The attack comes on the heels of another shooter near an ICE facility in Pearland Detention Facility that happened last Friday, where a Texas police officer was shot in the neck. Meanwhile, Democrat Representative Pamela J. Powell, Democrat Washington, accused ICE as acting like a terrorist force. J. Powell defended her comments in an interview on CNN yesterday after the White House demanded she apologize. What is deranged and cruel and outrageous is that literally we're seeing ICE agents. I assume they're ICE agents, J. Powell said in an interview with CNN. They say they are. They don't have any identification. They're wearing masks. They're in plain clothes. They're coming and kidnapping and disappearing people on the streets of America. Of course, we all know why they're wearing masks, because the Democrats were doxing them and trying to incite violence against their families. And they are wearing vests that have ICE written on them. Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. Unless these Democrat elected officials are held accountable for inciting violence, as we've been watching them do for years, they're never going to stop. Dear Donald Trump, and you're head of the FBI, and you're head of the Department of Justice, and you're head of the Home Security, and ICE, and Border Patrol, until you go out and arrest these motherfuckers, they're gonna keep doing it, and people are gonna get injured, and people are gonna get killed. They're inciting violence against law enforcement officers. Republicans, you're in control of the House and the Senate. Fucking do something about it. When one of these Democrat members get up and incite violence against MAGA, against Trump, against his supporters, against any law enforcement agency, don't censor them. Remove them from Congress. Send them packing home. You have the authority to do that. Fucking do your job. Now, this next story should make the liberals and Democrats in Washington, D.C. very happy, considering what all they've had to say about it since Trump took office. The Trump administration has resumed sending weapons to Ukraine after Putin refused to stop attacking Ukraine, even with all the negotiations that have been taking place. Weapons heading to Ukraine include 155 millimeter munitions and precise guided rockets. It's unclear exactly when the weapons started moving in that direction. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed a pause last week to allow the Pentagon to assess its weapons stockpiles, in a move that caught the White House by surprise. The Pentagon has denied that he acted without consulting President Donald Trump. More to that to come. Regardless, after what we watched unfold under 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration, an endless war between Ukraine and Russia, only because we and our NATO partners keep supplying Ukraine with weapons to defend themselves, Trump comes into office saying he will end the war on day one. Well, it's now day 172, and the war rages on. Trump realized that he overspoke. Putin obviously doesn't give a fuck. Now, this could all end tomorrow. Those of you who've been watching me for a long time have heard me say this before. If I were president of the United States or an advisor to Donald Trump, I could end this war tomorrow. How do you do that? I would vote Ukraine into NATO. Or call Putin and tell him we are sending in military combat forces to Ukraine to assess the damage they have done. Send in the 82nd, 101st Airborne Divisions. And then tell Putin that if a single U.S. service member is injured, our forces will launch a full-scale attack. Any one of those two things, adding Ukraine to NATO or sending in our troops on the ground and saying, now attack, and you're fucked. We'll bring this war to a screeching halt. Done, over with, Putin will stop and back down. I guarantee it. In true Democrat fashion, the House and Senate Democrats are once again spreading no merit lies about Trump, and the news media is running with those lies. This time it's about renaming military bases after Confederate generals. You may remember that Joe Biden removed the names of our military bases that were named after Confederate generals. So what are the facts? Fort A.P. Hill was once named after a Confederate general, like many of the other ones. But now it's named after 3 Union soldiers whose surnames are Anderson, Penn, and Hill. So once again, it will be called Fort A.P. Hill. President Trump traveled to a military base in North Carolina, Fort Bragg, to announce that he's changing the names of 7 military bases that had been changed not long ago by Biden because the names are racist in his DEI programs to cancel everything related to the Confederate military. Besides Fort Bragg, we're going to be restoring the names of Fort Pickett, Fort Hood, Fort Gordon, Fort Rucker, Fort Polk, Fort A.P. Hill, and Fort Robert E. Lee, Trump said. This set off these Democrats and liberals to lose their damn minds. Fort Lee, just south of Petersburg, was indeed originally named after Confederate General Robert E. Lee, but never bore his full name. It's always been simply Fort Lee. Here's how the fake news media reported on this. Trump says Army bases will revert to Confederate names. The New York Times. U.S. military bases restore names changed after racial justice protests. Trump says. That was Reuters. Trump reverses Army base names in latest DEI purge. That was from Politico. This isn't quite so. At the risk of being a nitpicker, but in the interest of historical accuracy, allow me to point out a key difference that some might have missed, Democrats and liberals. Yes, Fort A.P. Hill is Fort A.P. Hill again. Fort Lee is Fort Lee again. Fort Pickett goes back to being Fort Pickett, and so on. However, you ready for this? They're being renamed after a different hill, after a different Lee, after a different Pickett. The National Defense Authorization Act, which Trump vetoed in 2020 and which Congress overrode, includes a provision that bans using the names of Confederate figures for military bases. To get around that, Trump, more realistically, some appointed in the Defense Department, simply found other military figures with the same last names. So while it appears he restored the historic names of these bases, in reality, he simply renamed them after other non-Confederate figures who had the same surname. Some might find this a clever way to work around the name change that they object to. Others may find it a silly sleight of hand that tricks people into thinking he restored historic Southern names when he really didn't do that. He found the same surname of Union generals. Feel free to debate that on your own. I call it genius, because that's exactly what it is. Folks, you have many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I thank you very, very much. If you haven't already done so, whether you're watching me live tonight on YouTube or Rumble or X, formerly Twitter, or even LinkedIn, we go out live on LinkedIn too, please subscribe, Hit the notification bell and come back often if you don't get a notification, because YouTube likes to censor what I do, for instance, and doesn't let you know that I'm coming up and putting out a video or that I'm going live, or they go in and just unsubscribe you. They do that on a regular basis. So fuck them. Just go back and resubscribe and fight censorship. Also, go to douglasducote.com, our website, where you can see other videos and things that you can't see on the regular social media platforms because, they're not politically correct. Way more than what this show is. And whatever you're going to be doing this weekend, please be safe. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them and that you care about them, because we're not guaranteed a single minute or second in this life. And sadly, we all must go. The only way to go is to pass away. And it happens to us all the time. It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to all of us. We can't stay here. So it's important. I have found out through the years, losing many family members and many friends, it's very important to make sure that those that you love know that you love them. The worst thing, literally the worst thing, is to lose somebody that you love and you know they died not knowing how you really cared about them. Don't let that happen to you. Make sure everybody knows how you feel, especially if they're family and close friends. Watch out for yourself. Watch out for others. Watch your six. We are far from out of the woods. We know that we have right here in America terrorist cells waiting to be activated to do damage to Americans. A lot of it thanks to the Biden-Harris administration's open border policies. And as we reported on this show in the past, releasing hundreds of thousands of people from foreign countries that hate us into our country. And the FBI and the Department of Justice, under the Biden-Harris administration, we heard him testify, Director Wray, head of the FBI himself, testify in front of Congress, that what kept him up at night the most was that they let people on the no-fly list, because they're terrorists, walk into America. And we don't know where they're at. Our brave men and women in law enforcement are out there every night, 24/7, trying to find them and bring them to justice. It's not if, it's when. There will be another 9/11 style attack right here in America when we least expect it. And the blood of the Americans killed, just like the blood of all those that died due to an illegal alien, is on the hands of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They're responsible for angel families. And they're also responsible for a lot of the Gold Star families. Those that sacrificed their lives for our freedoms in places like Afghanistan, and the horrible withdrawal that took place there that even killed more Americans, surrendering to the same enemy that attacked us on 9/11. How sick and sad is that? As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. If something of major importance happens between now and next Tuesday, I will either do a video about it or I'll do a live program about it. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and God bless you.